amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Little roller up along first. Behind the base. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
See you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
All the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going to go out of bounds.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it. Dwight Clark.
You're tuned into Game On with Josh Silverberg.
Game on!
Talking all things sports. It's
Game on! Yeah, game on!
Game On, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Oh, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Game On Live right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, joining you every single Friday from 6:30 to whatever, mostly 7:30. It's usually when we go up to. I'm your host, Josh Silverberg. You must have heard me last night on the Loudmouth with Errol Marks. Again, you can check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com. We're on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, Periscope, Spotify, all of that, and so much more. We have a jam-packed show for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into a lot. The New York Mets, Billy Eppler, or as I like to call him, Billy and Eppler, no longer the GM of the New York Mets. What does that mean for them going forward? And David Stern's already marking his territory with this organization. I will tell you, it's a positive with Billy Eppler getting let go or resigning or whatever it is. Speedy and I will make our NFL picks, of course. We'll get into that. We'll do a little NHL preview as well. I'm going to get Speedy in on the NHL. Mark like that. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is also our last show with me solo, as Eric Bowe will be joining me full-time as the co-host of Game On every Friday. So Eric and I will be together going forward. So I'm looking forward to that. Very exciting, great news. It's going to be awesome to have him back, the little reunion of East Coast Bias, all of that. And we're going to bring the funny, we're going to bring the aggressiveness and everything like that. So we're going to get into all that. But of course we begin, and I know it's like beating a dead horse at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't going to talk about it. I wasn't going to get into it, but everybody's been texting me through the week. Oh, you got to give your thoughts on that Sunday night game with the Jets against the Chiefs, how the Jets got screwed and all of this stuff that's going on, why they called a hold on Sauce Gardner, and it cost them the game. Well, there's a couple of points and a couple of factors into this whole thing. And I am going to take the biasness out of me with the New York Jets. The reality of it is this. The New York Jets did get hosed in this game. They did. And I know my brother has constantly talked about, oh, well, the Jets got a horse collar tackle that was beneficial to them. And it kind of evens out. Well, it doesn't even out, because the truth of the matter is this. When you go back and you watch that game, how about the holding call on Jermaine Johnson where Patrick Mahomes ran for 25 yards on a 3rd and 20-something? Or how about the beginning of the game where they call an unsportsmanlike conduct on Jermaine Johnson when the offensive lineman actually threw a punch at Johnson and he pushed the lineman down, and they called an unsportsmanlike conduct on that one? I don't see any benefit to what the New York Jets got out of this game. Now, Zach Wilson did fumble when they were driving. He did mess that up on that play, but Zach Wilson played a very good game. Now, am I ready to sit here and say, okay, Zach, I'm going to crown you as the new quarterback of the New York Jets going forward? I could feel it. You're the man. I'm going to back Zach, and I've tried to back Zach plenty of times. But I need to see it on a consistent basis, and it starts this Sunday against the Denver Broncos, a team that they should easily beat. And especially now that the Broncos just traded away Randy Gregory to the 49ers today. So it clearly shows that the Broncos are just at this point. I bet you Gregory thrives with the 49ers because everything the 49ers touch turns to gold. No pun intended with them. That's why the 49ers, the gold rush, all that. But the truth of the matter is this. The Kansas City Chiefs have been the beneficiaries of calls for the last year and a half or so, since the Super Bowl where James Bradbury got called at the end of the Super Bowl on a play that should not have been called, a pass interference. And really, when you turn everything and you look at it and you say to yourself, boy, the New York Jets got hosed in this game. They did. And they just tied the game at 20. But the Kansas City Chiefs got every massive call in this game. The hold, the unsportsmanlike conduct, the mishold on Jermaine Johnson. You want to say one horse collar tackle? Fine. The Chiefs got like 3 or 4 penalties for them. So in the end, and of course I would love it if the Jets defense didn't spot 17 points in the first quarter. That would be great. But the truth of the matter is this. The Kansas City Chiefs have been the beneficiaries of calls for the last year or so since that Super Bowl. We clearly know how the league feels about Patrick Mahomes. They love him. He's the poster child of the entire thing. And the truth of the matter is this. Patrick, to me, the thing of this is that he's the face of this league. So, of course, you're going to treat him like royalty and gold. They're going to give him everything. The frustrating thing about this game was it feels like the Jets had it because Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes in this game. And the Jets should have gotten the interception. It's also when you look back at the video, ladies and gentlemen, you look back at it, right? The truth of the matter is this. The referee, when Michael Carter made the interception, that's when the referee threw the flag, by the way. Go watch the replay. Go watch it. Go look at it. Carter intercepts it. The referee then pulls the flag out and throws it. To me, something seems very off and weird about that. The Jets have also not had a passer. They're the only team in the league to not have a roughing the passer called to them in 3 years, which is crazy. That's another frustrating thing. I'm not going to sit here and push the screw the Jets button. Okay, that's not what I'm doing. But what I am doing is this. You have to be fair. And the truth of the matter is the NFL is not fair. The referees and their officials are not fair. My father, and I will give him credit in the world for this, and why not stroke his ego? He has said it. The game is fixed. And by the way, he's asking if there was, my dad texted me asking if there was holding. The answer is no. You're allowed to hold within 5 to, I believe, Speedy, you could message it to me. I believe within the 5 to 7 yards, you're allowed to hold. And then after that, you can't. He didn't hold him after this 5 to 7 yards. And then they also called, when they were driving too, they called illegal man downfield, which he has a 5-yard window. He wasn't past 5 yards, McGovern. Go watch the replay. The ref threw the flag when Carter intercepted the ball to see the play. That's the point. And that's the frustrating thing that I got out of this game. And to me, you can't fix it, and I'm tired. It goes back to the Franklin Myers roughing the passer a couple weeks ago against Dallas, where the next day the referees, the NFL officiating, came out and apologized to the Jets where it shouldn't have been a roughing the passer call. So you can't sit there and you can't tell me something's off. You can't call that late in the game. You can't do that. That's a game-changing play. You can't call a hold when it's not a hold. That's the thing that pisses me off. You want to throw the Chiefs holding calls on them? Fine. They got called for a hold, but guess what? On a 3rd and 23, the Jets get called for a hold. They didn't get called for it. The Johnson play, they don't get called for it. Mahomes runs 25 yards. The first play of the game, they call on sportsmanlike conduct on Johnson. The offensive lineman punched him in the head. I'm tired of the BS with this, with the officiating crew. And if people want to say, whoa, the Chiefs, they got called for some stuff too. They did. Bull. Go watch the game. That kid outplayed Mahomes and should have won that football game. I'm tired of it. This nonsense with the officials in this league, man. Go watch the Super Bowl last year. You tell me if Bradbury was pass interference. See, this is why I didn't want to bring it up, but I did. Anyway, we're going to touch base now. We'll get to our NFL stuff in a little bit with Speedy. Get into the New York Mets now, and there's been a lot that's been happening the last couple of days. Okay, David Stearns introduced as president of baseball ops for the New York Mets. Buck Showalter out as manager. Now, I've said this before. I think Buck last year won manager of the year. That's great, but go look at them in the last month of the season. That team faltered. Team faltered down the stretch at the end of the year last year. Okay? That team faltered. And this year, they didn't live up to expectations. And usually Buck Showalter teams obviously don't win anything. There has to be a reason why. But I've watched every game pretty much for the season with this team. And there were some, and I understand they lost Diaz at the beginning of the year, and you kind of knew where the season was going to go at that point, right? Because you can't replace it. He's the best closer in baseball. But you look at some of the Showalter decisions that he's made the last year or so, and it wasn't pretty. This year specifically, there were moves that he made. And remember, this team started out very good. They were 15-6 at one point. It's a matter of, in regards to what David Stearns wanted. What did David Stearns want? David Stearns wants power. Steve Cohen is giving him that power. Otherwise, he's going to have fat hands, which is touching everything, getting involved in everything. But this is why you hire David Stearns, right? He's your baseball mind now. He's the guy. You need to let him make the decision. You can't say to David Stearns, okay, I want to hire you, but you have to make Buck Showalter the manager. Because what if Stearns comes back and says, I don't want it? And then you lose David Stearns. Or you let Showalter come back, right? And Craig Counsell says he wants to manage, and then Craig Counsell winds up going somewhere else. So in that end of it, the Mets lose out on the target that they want. Now, as far as the Billy Eppler stuff goes, this whole IL situation seems very fugazi. It seems like kind of an out for the way for him to say, yeah, no, I didn't want to stay, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to basically go out this way. And with me, Billy Eppler obviously didn't. He was horrible. He was atrocious. The Scherzer deal, bad. The trade deadline last year was one of the worst trade deadlines I could remember. Daniel Vogelback, awful. Darren Ruff, unwatchable. Tyler Naquin, unplayable. Michael Givens, you wouldn't even know he was even there. That was a team that won 101 games, and that was the guys that Billy Eppler went out to get. Were those guys. Now, listen, Eppler did a nice job at the deadline this year. Granted, they had to eat a lot of that money, right, to basically build and buy their farm system. But Billy Eppler did a miserable job here. Awful. And a lot of it, I'm also going to blame Steve Cohen for it. I can tell you a lot of this is Steve Cohen's decision-making. 100% Cohen wanted Carlos Correa. Thank God they didn't do that deal. Now the question becomes now with Stearns is, okay, you need a GM and you need a manager. Who are you going to go after? Are you going to pluck somebody from a guy maybe you know in Milwaukee? Or are you going to go outside the box? Billy Eppler, I just don't think he didn't want to stay because I don't think he wanted to be like George Costanza and work for the Yankees and not know what he's doing. You get paid for it, but I don't think he wanted it. I think he was probably second, possibly even third in command. Eppler knew he had no say in this organization. And the truth of the matter is this. I think if Eppler did a nice job with this team, I think maybe eventually Cohen would have made him president of baseball ops. But I think Cohen saw the deadline last year, the team this year, and was just like, this isn't working. I really have to go get a president of baseball ops. I was hoping to make Billy that guy. And Billy took the job because nobody else would take the job at the time. There's been no stability. Since Steve Cohen has taken over this team, you're going under your third manager, and you're going on your fourth general manager. I'm not going to count Stearns because he's the president of baseball ops. But Cohen's been here for 20, 21, and 22, and for 4 years now. No, he wasn't here for 20. I'm sorry. 21, 22. 3 years now Cohen's been here. He's on his third manager and his fourth general manager. That's atrocious. There's no stability. And I know Met fans want to give him the flowers. Uncle Stevie, he's great and everything. He hasn't done anything to show that he's great. It's the people that he's putting in charge are just inept. I got Samuel Alderson, who's halfway out the door, retired at 70-something. Jared Porter's sending lower area picks to reporters. Zach Scott's getting a DUI after a party. And then you got Billy Eppler with this IL thing. Come on. That's not why Billy left. Billy left because I think he sat down with Stearns. Stearns said, this is what you're going to do. And Billy Eppler didn't like it because you're taking a guy who had all this power and autonomy away for the last 2 years. Gone. And Billy wasn't going to have any say in anything at the organization. So when I look at the whole thing, you're hoping David Stearns brings stability to this organization because, damn it, they need it. And I said it on the show yesterday, Steve Cohen looks like a man that got over a one-night stand. This is something. Cohen better hope this freaking works. And you like to think they will. Listen, he had a lot of success in Milwaukee, right? They were a game away from going to the World Series with, by the way, the lowest payroll in baseball that year, lower than the Rays. They're consistently in the playoffs. All that. So, again, the hope is you're getting that consistency. And I expect Craig Counsell to be the manager of this team. And now the question becomes is with this Pete Alonso stuff. What do you do with Pete Alonso? The whole Cub report was just not true. It was inaccurate. But now Pete Alonso has hired Scott Boras as his agent. And everybody's like, oh, God, listen. Steve Cohen pays for Scott Boras to live in his house with the amount of money that he gives his clients, from Nimmo to Scherzer to almost signing Correa. Now, listen, what would I give Pete Alonso? I would give him 5 years, maybe 6, and at 220, 230. I'm not giving him more than that. And if he wants 3-something for 8 years, bye. I cannot pay a guy with his type of build and what he does that massive amount of money on that contract. It will not last. The power will go away in years from now. And you're eating that for the next 3 or 4 years after that. I cannot afford to give out that contract to him. Now, listen, if they trade Pete Alonso, you get a haul back. But then you have to explain after you just signed on as president of baseball ops, and that's the first big move you make is trading away Pete Alonso. It's a tough sell to the fan base because he's the face of the franchise. Lindor's the best player, but he's the face of the franchise, Alonso. And David Stern said at his press conference, he's my first baseman next year. But then what do you go after that? That's the question. Do you make a play for Juan Soto and give Soto the big contract? Because remember, Soto's 24. Are they going to go after Shohei Ohtani? Are they going to make a play for a Blake Snell? Are they going to sign Yamamoto, the pitcher from Japan? I would gladly take Juan Soto on this team and give him the big contract. He's 24. He's won a World Series. I give him an 8-year deal. Because if you give Soto an 8-year deal, he's still going to be 32 years old after. Still good years left. Now, Ohtani's 29. You're giving Ohtani that massive contract? No shot. And somebody will. Probably the Dodgers. I'm hearing the Red Sox. But Steve Cohen constantly said 2025 is going to be the big jump. But we're going to put a competitive team next year. Well, we'll see. Their farm system is really good too. But is Pete Alonso going to be a part of this organization? He wasn't happy about the Showalter firing. Apparently, he was going to go talk to Steve Cohen about it, and players had to tell him not to. I will tell you this, though. Money heals all wounds. So I'm very curious if the contract is, or what they offer him, because I've been hearing they're good on the money. It's the years. And now Scott Boras is involved. That could deter everything. But we'll see. Steve Cohen and Scott Boras have a great relationship. So we will see with that. When we come back, we're going to get into our NFL picks, and we're going to do a little NHL preview. Speedy Petey is going to join me. And by the way, this will be the last time Speedy will be on camera until Eric Bowe shows up next week. But Speedy will still give his picks and everything like that. So tune in. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. This is Game On Live right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Game on!
Game on! We're back.
Juicy stuff!
You're listening to Game On with Josh Silverberg.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Game On Live right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Don't forget, next Friday, Eric Bowe will be here full time as my co-host. Speedy P will still be producing, but he will not be really on screen that much unless, let him chime in every now and then. But we're also going to do a little NHL stuff with him, too. I know he loves his Rangers. So we will get into that. A little bit of breaking news really quick. Sandy Alcantara just announced he had Tommy John surgery, so he will miss next season as well. So Sandy Alcantara, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, out for next season. Nevertheless, let's bring him in on now. Speedy Petey.
Just as happy as you are as the Billy Eppler being gone.
Yes, I mean, your screen is frozen, but yeah.
Yeah, the show completely froze yesterday, so I'll probably have to stay off of camera this time. But
all right, well, listen, you did what you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to fix that for yourself, Speedy.
At least it didn't completely crash like ours did for like 5 minutes yesterday.
Well, listen, like I said, as long as Errol doesn't know about it, which he probably will see it, I can't help you there. But I want to get to, before we get to our NFL picks, a little NHL preview. The season starts next week. Speedy, who are you guaranteed right now? If you had to pick 4 teams from the East and 4 teams, actually, no, give me your division winners from each division first.
I will say Toronto for the Atlantic, and I'll go Metro's tough. I'm going to say Carolina just because they're getting guys back healthy. And then I'll go in the Central. I will. Ooh, that's tough too. There's no obvious one. I'll say Minnesota. And
Minnesota.
Yeah, I think a full year with Gustafson. I think that'll help them. And then I will say
Over Dallas and Colorado.
Yeah, I think them with a full year of Gustafson, I think will elevate them. Because remember, they were separated by like 3 points last year, all 3 teams.
Yeah, but now Colorado, remember, is getting everybody back this year too. And Georgia,
yeah, I think Colorado will be a tougher out in the playoffs.
And also, I think Ottinger is starting to find himself.
Yeah, I'm just Dallas. The rest of their team, I'm still not like crazy.
Their defense isn't great. We know that. Yeah, their defense isn't great, but I feel like Ottinger is starting to find himself, so that's going to help.
All right, and then Pacific. I'll say Edmonton.
Yeah. Okay. So who are your? What is it? 8 teams get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pick your 3 from the Metro. Pick your 3 from the other divisions as well.
All right, I'll say
your locks. Pick your 3 locks from each one.
Kraken, I like them. I think they improve a lot.
Okay, so you're gonna go with the. Are you going with the Pacific first?
Yeah, so I'll go Kraken.
Edmonton
and Vegas, yeah, Kraken,
Edmonton,
Vegas.
Kraken,
Even though I think the Flames will be good too. I think they are usually an every other year type team, so it wouldn't surprise me if it flip flops with them in the Vegas. But I'll say Vegas, and then Central is the 3 teams we listed: Colorado, then Dallas in that order,
and then Minnesota too.
Minnesota, right? Minnesota's the division.
Your team that you picked. Speedy.
Yeah, I know. Yes, and then
you already gave up on them.
Atlantic, I'll go with a little bit of a surprise here. I'll say Buffalo second.
You did this last year. You said Buffalo last year, and they flopped.
No, I didn't. No, not in the playoffs. I didn't have them in the playoffs last
year.
Yeah,
we did. When we did the weekend crunch, we said the question: do we think Buffalo's going to get in?
Oh, later in the season, yeah.
Yes.
I actually meant the start of the season. Okay.
No.
Yeah. That's fine. And I'll say Buffalo, and I'll say Florida.
Well, Buffalo, Florida with
Toronto.
With Toronto. Okay, Toronto. So you don't think Boston and
nope. I think Boston takes a big step back this
year. Tampa
year.
as well.
Tampa will still make it, but I think they take a little bit of a step back.
Okay, and then for the Metro, it's
I'll say Devils, then Rangers, same order as last.
Devils, Rangers, Carolina. Okay, then who gets your wild card spots?
I will say Tampa and the Red Wings.
See, I still think Boston gets in. They still got Marchand and Pasternak.
All right. And then I'll say the Flames, and I will say Winnipeg.
Okay. And your Stanley Cup champion is?
The Hurricanes over the Kraken.
Well, you can't do the Hurricanes over the Kraken. They're in the Western Conference, Speedy.
The Hurricanes are in the Western Conference?
Oh, the Hurricanes. I just said the Flames.
No.
Okay.
The Hurricanes beat the Kraken.
Hurricanes over the Kraken. Okay. Okay. We're going to lock that in.
All right.
We'll find out in March where you're at. I'll probably be filling in for Arrow for a weekend crunch thing or something. And then I'll probably go back and look at it. And we'll say, wow, you really said the Kraken, huh? It's going to the Cup and they're in last place. No, I'm going to go with, in the Metro, I'll go same thing. Carolina, Devils, Rangers, the Atlantic. I'm going to go Toronto. I still like Boston with Pasternak and Marchand and everything. So I'm going to give them a spot as a lock. And then it's interesting, right? Because Vasilevsky's out the first 20 games. We'll see if he comes back. Florida's defending conference champs, but they have so many injuries right now. Trying to think, who else would there be? Tampa, Florida. Yeah. I don't know about Buffalo. Man, you know what? I'll give. I can't give Ottawa. I can't trust Ottawa. I'll give Buffalo a spot as a lock, and then my 2 wild card teams. I'm going to say one. I can't go against Pittsburgh yet, even though I really want to.
I couldn't last year, but I finally did this year.
Yeah, I can't because they feel like they make it every year. It doesn't matter. It's really a shame about. I'm still going to give Florida a shot, even though they have so many injuries right now. I think Tampa takes a step back.
Okay.
I think they do. And then in the West, I'm going to go – I like Dallas in that division. I go Dallas, Colorado, Minnesota. I liked what you said. And, of course, you have Kaprizov. That's going to help. And then the Pacific, I'm going to go – obviously, I like Vegas. I think Edmonton wins it. I think the LA Kings are going to take a massive jump this year.
Okay, I could see that. So
I like the Kings a lot this year. And then there's the 2 wild card teams. I'm going to go with Seattle, and I'll go with clearly you like Calgary a lot. I'll go with Calgary, so I'll go with Calgary as a wild card team.
They're always like an every other year type team. Like they're
it's just a matter of do they have enough talent to really.
I still think they do.
It's a matter of, is Markstrom going to be what he was 2 years ago?
I think he'll be somewhere in between. He's not going to be as bad as last year.
He better be better because he's on my fantasy team as my goalie. He better be better.
Yeah, I think it'll be somewhere in between, but I still like the talent of their skaters enough. And I think a lot of the young players were saying with Daryl Sutter, I think that really drove the team culture down. And I think with a new coach, it'll help him a little bit.
And then my Stanley Cup, it's interesting. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Devils in the Cup against, I'm going to say Colorado, and I think Colorado wins it.
Okay.
And Georgiev gets to hold a cup. Why not? Slap in the face. Why not happen? All right, Speedy, let's get to our NFL picks, man. Let's do it. What's the records?
All right, so you were 13-3 last week. I was 12-4. So yeah, you still lead by 3 games. All of us.
Woo! Look at me go.
All of us were insane last week.
You're gonna continue. Now here's the thing, because Eric is joining the show, we're not gonna have time really to have Speedy on as much. We've talked to Speedy about that. He knows that already. But Speedy's still gonna have his picks and everything like that. So he's still gonna have his picks in there. But Eric and I are going to start doing picks. I'm going to keep the same record, though. We're not going to get rid of that record, Speedy.
Mm-hmm.
So going against you in Arrow, which I'm crushing both of you right now.
You're up by 3 games.
I'm on cruise control, baby.
Might
as well put it in there.
All right, you're on cruise control, up by 3 games. Great.
Yeah, that's right. And how many games am I up on Arrow?
2.
Wait, he's ahead of you now?
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I had that wrong. You're up by 2 games on me, 3 on Arrow.
I'm still in cruise control, baby. We're flying high.
Your 2-game lead. You're in cruise control. Okay,
that's right. And never going to let it get away.
All right. Speaking of getting away, 2 teams got away from the United States. They'll be playing in London: the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. The over/under is 48.5.
Over/under 48.5. I'm going to go with the under in this one. I'm going to pick Buffalo to win this game. Boy, did they feel themselves last week against Miami, didn't they? It felt like they absolutely slaughtered the Dolphins. And it just shows that the Dolphins, who I picked in that game, by the way, have a lot of issues on defense. Now, Buffalo's got a good offense, but not that good. And I'm still trying to figure out Jacksonville. Now, they won last week. The biggest thing about Jacksonville is I would imagine they stayed in London because they were there last week. So I'm going to go with Buffalo in this game, though. I'm going to have the talent over there. Give me Buffalo with the under at 48.5.
Yeah, actually, that's the main reason I'm going to actually take the upset with the Jaguars here, because they are staying in London. And their defense continues to be very impressive, too. They had that one bad game against Houston, but besides that, they've played really well.
Houston's legit, by the way, Speedy.
No, I know that.
They're good.
But the Jags up front.
Lions coach of the year.
Jags up front, I think, are going to make it tough. The Bills' offensive line's been better this year, but still not amazing. And running the ball, they still are trying to find their way. They were a little better last week. I think the loss of Tre'Davious White, though, I think they'll be able to figure it out long term, but in the short term against that receiving core, I think it's going to be very hard. So I'm actually going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to go Jacksonville on the over in this game. All right. The Houston Texans and the Atlanta Falcons, 41.5.
I think that's going to be an under, but I CJ Stroud looks really good. He looks really good. He hasn't turned the ball over yet. D'Amico Ryans is really turning this team, man. That defense is looking stout. With Will Anderson and those guys, I mean, I know I'm trying to figure out how long is oh my God, who's the corner they got? Stingley. How long is Stingley out for still, or is he back?
He might be back.
Okay. I'm going to go with Houston this one. Boy, Desmond Ridder stinks. I mean, he tried to give his teammate a high five last week, and his teammate yelled at him. I mean, that was enough of itself to show what the Falcons are. He stinks, Ridder. And it's a shame because that team's got so much talent with Robinson and Pitts and London and all these guys, and they can't get anything with this quarterback. They have to get a quarterback in the draft this year. Do something. Give me the Texans. They're feeling themselves right now. I like where they're at. I like where Houston is. I'm going to go with the under, but I like the Houston Texans in this game.
Yeah. By the way, Stingley is still out. He was placed on IR in week 3, so he's not eligible to return until week 7. So this will be a close game. I think this could go many different directions. The Falcons' pass defense and the Texans' pass defense have both been very impressive this year. So I would say temper your expectations with C.J. Stroud in this game. I think he's going to play well still, but I would say not as big as the last 2 weeks because Atlanta's secondary, getting A.J. Terrell back healthy has really been a big difference maker. Texans offensive line has still had their issues this year. And I do think the Texans up front against the Falcons rushing offense, that creativity is still going to be very tough. Now, the Texans, I think, will be able to have some big plays and on the ground themselves and be able to stretch the field on occasion because Stroud hasn't done very well with the deep ball this year. But I think in Atlanta, I think the Falcons their defense will still keep it tough. And I think between their running games and finally, one of these days, Kyle Pitts has to break out. I think this will be the game. Give me Atlanta in a close one on the over. Okay. All right. Before we get to our next picks, we actually have a phone call from our friend Snug.
Oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to hear me.
I just had to call in on the show. You know I always have to do shout-outs. So, first of all, shout-out to Lyle for being the king of soccer and for preaching the gospel of soccer to all of us, as should be preached because it is the real football. I want to say shout-out to Jeff. I know that Jeff is living his best life right now, but he should be welcomed back to the network with open arms. So that's discussion for another day. Shout out to Speedy for being the man. And I want to give a special shout out to Maryland because the 49ers are amazing. And shout out to Nelson. Please come back on. But the most special shout out of the week goes to Josh freaking Silverberg for calling Errol out on his Yankee bullshit earlier in the week. You are the man. Way to go. Now, I want to add a little bit to this segment for all you gambling enthusiasts out there.
Go for it.
Here's a little tidbit. C.J. Stroud is going to throw an interception this week. Over under on the half for an interception is plus money. He's gone 4 NFL starts without an interception. He's the first person to ever go this deep. Gardner Minshew was the last one. I think he made it through 3. Before he threw an interception, and everybody else, including even the GOAT of all time, Thomas Brady, threw an interception inside that time frame. So everyone get out there and get paid. This one, who cares who wins the game? Get paid on that.
Just get the interception. That's all we're asking for. Just CJ throw an interception and you're golden, right, Snug? That's how it works.
One interception is all we want, so we get paid cash money.
Okay.
Also, shout out to Josh's cats. They're never on the show anymore, which is awfully disappointing to my cats. They wait every week to see it. Shout out to cupcakes. Shout out to extra special cupcakes. And I'm out, gentlemen.
Thanks, Snug. Appreciate it, man. I have never got. That's the first shout out I ever got from Snug. I got goosebumps.
Yeah, I think
I knew Speedy. I knew he was going to call in today. I knew it. Did you see him on the chat last night when I was talking to Errol?
Oh yeah, him and
Lyle
were very active on that
He was like, it was like Rocky. He was like in the corner. It's like, get him. It was like Mickey. He was like, get him. Yeah, take him down. Well, thank you, Stuck. But I actually like that. You know what? I actually might play that. It's 1 interception. He said, Speedy.
Yep. Which I do believe will happen. So
100%. That's an easy one. I might go on FanDuel or whatever and do that. All right, Speedy, what's the next game?
Thank you. Next game is the rookie quarterback that is struggling right now, and that is Bryce Young. His Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions. It is 44.5. And the Lions defense has still been very good too, besides that Seattle game where they allowed 37 points.
Which I'm still trying to figure out how they lost that freaking game, but it is what it is. Now, look, I want to clarify this quick. I'm trying to figure out if the Panthers are going to regret this trade for Bryce Young, because remember, they traded DJ Moore and the first-round pick too. Do you know what I mean? So when you think about it right now on paper, the Bears had the number 1 pick. I think they lost it.
Well, yeah, the Panthers traded to the Bears for the number 1 overall.
No. But I'm saying they have 2 first-round picks, and before
they still had it at the start of the week, but yeah,
but before yesterday, the rankings were the Bears were the number 1 and the number 2 picks in the draft.
Yep, no, you're right.
Which would have gotten them Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Now you wonder, with the Bears, do they still draft a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. to help with Justin Fields? Do they believe in Justin Fields, or do they just fire Eberflus at this point? Which I'm still trying to figure out last week. I'm confused. That was weird. The whole thing was odd. That's a whole discussion for another day, with the 4th and 1 going for it. And then I don't know. You said the over-under for what was 41?
Carolina, Detroit is 44.5.
44.5. I think it'll be the over. I do think it will get the over, but I think it's going to be 90% because of Carolina. I mean, because of Detroit. Detroit's going to bash their brains in. Carolina's a horrible team right now. And, this is – now, I understand they had to trade DJ Moore, right, to get Bryce Young.
In theory, but they could have traded Burns as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And the other thing, too, is that you took a receiver away from building with Bryce Young. Bryce Young has nobody to throw to. Adam Thielen's over the hill. They got nobody else. They're not a good team. Detroit's easily going to win this one. I'll take the over in this one, too. I think Detroit's going to absolutely just kick their face in this game. Give me Detroit in the over.
Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit in this game by double digits. I think it'll be on the under, though. I don't know if they're going to score the points that'll be necessary to get to the over, because I have Carolina only scoring 10 points, because Detroit's defense has been really good besides that Seahawks game. And their pass rush, I think, will make it very tough. Their run defense is much improved from where it was last year, so I can't even expect Carolina to get it going there. Now, the thing that could hurt Detroit from having the offensive potency is Amon-Ra St. Brown dealing with an injury. He's questionable. He'll probably play, but he's questionable.
Stop it. Never say anything bad about him to me.
Why?
Don't say anything negative. Don't say anything negative. But Speedy, what did I say he was going to be? He was going to be a top 10 receiver. Did I not?
He still is a top 10 receiver.
Still would.
Doesn't mean he's can't be lingering with an injury.
There's no injury with him. He's fine. He's going to be better than Calvin Johnson. No, he's not, but that's okay.
I'm going to take the Detroit Lions 24-10, so that'll be on the under for me.
Okay.
All right, the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. We got 43.5.
What is it? You said it was the Colts and the what?
Titans.
43.5, they said?
Yep. In Indianapolis.
Oh, that's a low number. I'm going to take the Colts in this one, though. Not the Colts, excuse me. I'm going to take Tennessee in this game. I think Tennessee's feeling good after that win over Cincinnati. They beat Cincinnati last week, right?
Yep, 27-3.
Yeah. I mean, Burrow's on one leg, but... And no, my dad's asking if I'm drinking one of his ciders. No, it's a seltzer. You don't drink while you're working. I'm going to take the Titans in this one. I'm definitely taking the under.
Yeah, I got the Titans as well. I know there are reports that Jonathan Taylor could come back, but
he's not coming back. He won't be in a Colts uniform again.
Yeah, even if he does, the Titans are really good.
He will not be in a Colts uniform ever again.
So don't expect any type of rushing consistency like the Colts had last week against the Rams. That was actually a big reason they were able to come back in the second half. Zach Moss had a nice game. They got good production with a rookie tight end as well. But again, this Titans defense is just a tougher unit than the Rams are. Their secondary is a little skeptical, but the Colts really don't have the guys to stretch the field. Now, I think the Colts defense could keep it close too, because I also think you look at the Titans offense, they don't really have the ability to stretch the field either the same way. And Derrick Henry had a nice game last week. Will he be able to do it again? I don't know. So I think the Titans do win as well on the under. All right, the New York Giants and the Miami Dolphins. We got 47.5 the over-under for that one. The Dolphins might just score that on their own.
What's the over-under in that one?
47.5. The Dolphins just might score that on their own.
The Dolphins are gonna put up 60. Oh, they're gonna absolutely destroy the Giants. There's not much to say. The Giants are a disaster right now. They're a mess. There's blame all around. And I said it on the Weekend Crunch this past week. I think last year was actually the worst thing for the Giants because they're stuck with Daniel Jones in this contract and stuff, and this team is nowhere. Evan Neal, I'm going to say it, what a douche to insult the fans like that. Bro, you're never going to win against that number one. Number two, you'll be long gone, okay, while these fans will still be paying tickets, paying for parking, paying for food. You'll be long gone, and you deserve every bit of booze that you got because you suck. Give me the Dolphins in this one, easy.
Yeah, Dolphins are definitely blowing out the Giants in this game. This is an easy over. Jalen Waddle, who was not 100% last week, he did play, but did not.
Did you see the big trade the Dolphins made today?
They made a trade? No, I did not.
They got Chase Claypool today.
Oh God. The only guy that might be worse. The only guy that might be worse than Eli Apple on their team. That'll be fun watching those two yap their mouths at one another.
Right.
But yeah, the Dolphins are definitely blowing out the Giants in this game. Now, Saquon Barkley might come back for the Giants this week.
Not going to do anything.
I think he'll play well in the first half, and then
the Giants will score points though. The Dolphins defense is atrocious.
Right. I think that Saquon will be able to run the ball in the first half. The Giants will be able to keep it close. Then once the Dolphins start to pull away in the second and third quarter, they're not going to be able to run as much, and that's where it's going to be harder for the Giants. So this is a definite over. Miami wins this for sure, unfortunately. All right. We got the Saints and the Patriots, 38.5.
Saints at the Patriots?
Yep.
This is interesting. I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. I don't think Carr is healthy. I don't like where the Saints are right now. Last week was a disaster for them. They got pretty easily had their ass kicked by the Buccaneers. And Tampa might win that division now, by the way. And to me, like I said, I don't think Carr is healthy. The defense is doing okay, not as good as I think we all thought it would, but the offense is not clicking. Olave is not – he hasn't been anywhere near as good as he was last year, which is odd. You would think that would help with Michael Thomas back and Kamara back, and Jimmy Graham is still kicking. I don't know how. I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one. I think the defense is going to be enough. Now they lost Matthew Judon for who knows how long could be the year. That's a massive blow to them. But I think in New England, it's going to be tough for that Saints offense to get it going against New England, so I'm going to go with the Patriots.
This is going to be definitely an under.
What's the over-under in that?
It is 38.5.
I'm going to say the under. It's going to be tight.
I think this is a definite under. Both these offensive lines have also been messed so far to start this year. The Saints, who have good offensive linemen on paper, they've really been down this year. Whatever scheme adjustments they've made this year, it has not looked great.
Dennis Allen's going to lose his job at the end of the year.
It's definitely possible. The Patriots offensive line's been ravaged with injuries all year. Mac Jones has had a lot of trouble sensing pressure and obviously just none of the escapability. And like you said, Judon's injury, I think, is going to be the big difference in this game because I think the Patriots, like I was saying with the Bills, still have to figure that end of it out. Belichick will long-term. I don't know if it does to the extent in this game. And the Saints pass rush is going to make it very tough on them, and their run defense has always been good as well. So I'm going to take New Orleans in a close game on the under. All right, the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers, 37.5.
I'm going to go under, but give me the Ravens in this one. Pittsburgh's a mess. Pickett's playing, which is worse. I think Baltimore had a good win last week in Cleveland. Granted, it was without Watson playing. Wins a win, right? And it's not like they haven't had injuries either, but they're getting a lot of people back. They're getting Bateman back. Beckham's coming back. Humphreys is coming back. They're getting healthy at the right time. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I got the Ravens in this one too. The Matt Canada might be the worst offensive coordinator in the league.
Oh no, they give him a promo. They give him a promotion. Yeah. He's working with the quarterbacks now too.
Oh, great! Yeah, that's clearly the great strategy. Maybe the Steelers.
Mike Tomlin's a good coach. I don't even know what he's doing.
Maybe the Steelers should trade for Justin Fields and trade the Mitch Trubisky.
Let me tell you something. Mike Tomlin's been over 500 every year of his career. At 500, this would be the first year he's not.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty ugly the way it got there the last 2 years, but still was ended up being 9-8. I mean, maybe their defense does enough, but it's going to be tough to imagine them doing that with Matt Canada as their offensive coordinator, who's misused Najee Harris a lot of the time. Even with an improved offensive line, it still has not looked great, and obviously Deontay Johnson's injury is really hurting that Steelers team more than we would have thought. So, yeah, definitely the Ravens in this game. Their offense is still not really clicked yet besides Zay Flowers, who's been the only really consistent player. So the Steelers defense will keep it close, but I got the Ravens by 10 points on the under. All right, to the 4 o'clock games, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Arizona Cardinals. Over-under is 44.5.
I think this could be an over, but man, Cardinals are tough, aren't they?
Yeah.
A tough group. I don't like where the Bengals are. Burrow's hurt, man. Jamar Chase is getting annoyed. It's going to give me the upset. Give me the Cardinals in this one. Until the Bengals prove to me they can win, which they haven't been able to, and they've been getting blasted in a lot of their games this year. And Burrow's clearly not going to be healthy for the season. Give me the Cardinals in this game in an upset.
Yeah, I like the over in this game. I'm going to take the Bengals because I don't know if the Cardinals' defense is necessarily trustworthy, especially against the run. They've had a lot of issues.
But is Joe Burrow trustworthy right now?
Yeah, I think this will be more of a Joe Mixon.
Really? I don't see it.
This will be more of a Joe Mixon type game. I think you're going to see Burrow's going to play fine. He's not going to play elite, but I think he'll play fine. I think this T. Higgins being hurt held them back a little bit, but I do think you'll see Jamar Chase play better in this game. Joe Mixon, I think, will be the main catalyst for the Bengals in this game. The Cardinals have had a lot of issues, and the Cardinals have a lot of issues against the run. Now, the Cardinals, I think, will be able to stretch the field. Michael Wilson, their rookie wide receiver, looked good last week against the 49ers. I could see this being a good game for Trey McBride as well, but I just don't know if they have enough defense to be able to stop the Bengals full time. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this game. It will be close. I'm going to take them on the over. Over. All right. The Philadelphia Eagles at the LA Rams, 50.5, the over-under.
All right. I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. It's going to be closer than people think. I'm going to take the over, too. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game, but I don't think the Eagles' defense is nowhere near as good as it was last year. And you thought it should be, right, because they drafted Jalen Carter. And it hasn't really worked out very well. Clearly, they miss who did they lose the corner? Gardner Johnson?
Yeah, they lost Gardner Johnson. They lost Javon Hargrave. So
yeah, so they lost a few guys. Hargrave went to San Francisco. Gardner Johnson went to Detroit. But I still trust the Eagles in this one. Cooper Kupp is back for the Rams this week, but I think it's going to be – you're going to see a lot of DeAndre Swift in this one, hopefully. Please. You're going to see a lot of DeAndre Swift. And to me, I think the Eagles will still be undefeated, and they'll continue to do well. I think getting A.J. Brown in the offense, you don't have to force feed it. I didn't like them against Washington great last week, but I think they'll rebound. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one, the over.
Yeah, I like the over definitely in this game. The Eagles have had a lot of trouble with the middle of the field defense, and they've had trouble with their slot defense. And Avonte Maddox being hurt was one of the best slot corners when he was healthy last year. And like you said, Gardner Johnson even was a guy that sometimes came down and played the slot corner role. And both of them not being there, the Rams with Sean McVay do a lot of those slot concepts. You're going to see a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of Tutu Atwell in this game.
Tutu Atwell.
Field, obviously.
How about Puka Nacua?
I was going to say, and then you got a rookie of the year in Nacua so far with his 15 catches last week, or against the 49ers. He had 9 catches last week and a game-winning touchdown. He's going to play well. And I think even Tyler Higbee could play well. The problem is the Rams, like you said, have not been able to stop the run, especially outside running in this game. I agree DeAndre Swift has a nice game. I think Jalen Hurts will start running the ball more. He's been kind of limited more this year with the new offense, but I think they'll finally unleash that. I think one of Brown or Smith will be able to be contained. I think Deron Kendrick and some of the other young defensive backs they've had have played well for the Rams, but they just don't have enough of a pass rush. So I'm going to take the Eagles too. It will be close, though. I think the Rams will cover, but I think the Eagles win close on the over. All right, the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos, the Sean Payton versus Nathaniel Hackett Bowl.
What's the over-under in that one?
We got 43.5.
Under. Oh, it's a tough game. This is a very tough game to pick. I'm going to go with the Jets in this one, and I think it's the reason of the Jets on paper are a better team, right? Randy Gregory also just got traded, so that's going to make their defense even weaker for Denver. You like to think Zach will rebound. Breece Hall's off the pitch count now, so they're going to clearly run the ball with him more. Denver does not have a good defense. Their offense isn't that great either. There's no reason why the Jets shouldn't win this game. They should, which is amazing. They're not even the favorites, but I guess because of the road team and the travel and stuff, but they should have been the Chiefs last week. And when you look at it, you don't think the Jets are going to be pissed off about that game last week? Of course they are. And of course the team is pissed about the Sean Payton comments. And of course they're angry about it. I think the New York Jets will win this game. I think it'll be close. But I think the Jets will be able to get a field goal late at the end of the game. I'm going to take the under, though.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets too. The Broncos defense still a mess right now. You got really no pass rush.
They should have lost to the Bears last week. The Bears shot themselves in the foot, man.
They really have no pass rush right now. This losing their defensive coordinator to Carolina, Avero, has really hurt them this year. I thought that was going to be one of the things that hurt them last year. It turned out to be a strength for them, while their offense was a mess. But this year, Russell Wilson, I think, has played better, not great, but better. And you look at some of the receivers they've been able to spread around since they've had all these injuries, but they have a lot of injuries they have to deal with now. Probably no Javonte Williams in this game again. Obviously, all of these receiver injuries, and the Broncos' offensive line, probably besides the Giants, has been the next worst in the league this year so far. Maybe besides Washington too. But that's going to be a tough task against this Jets pass rush. So I think that'll make it harder. I think Russell Wilson.
Yeah, unless they don't call any holds on the Broncos' offensive line. So
well,
if you hold the Jets defensive line, then you get away with it. So it doesn't.
Well, I don't know if Garrett Bowles has shot his shot yet with Taylor Swift. So I think you're okay on that front.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to take the Jets though, because I have been impressed with their offensive progression so far in that game last week against the Chiefs. You saw Allen Lazard get used a lot more. I think the tight ends getting used a lot more. I think Zach Wilson is doing a better job spreading the ball out. So I have the Jets in this one. I think it will be a close game. I'm going to go in the different direction though. I'm going to take them on the over. All right. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Minnesota Vikings, 52.5.
Is that the Sunday night game?
No, Sunday night game is Dallas and San Francisco.
That's right.
Like you mentioned before, now that Randy Gregory got traded to the 49ers, if he does play, maybe we see the Randy Gregory revenge game.
Yeah. Let's see. Chiefs at, you said
Vikings. It is
Vikings.
52.5.
It's in Minnesota?
Yep.
Interesting. You know what? I'm going to take, interesting enough, I'm going to take the Vikings in this one. I think the offense will be able to do well in this game against Kansas City. I think Minnesota getting a win is going to make them feel better, right? Everything like that. So give me the Vikings in this game in an upset.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I'm going to take the Chiefs just because I trust their defense a little more. I think the Vikings, the last couple of weeks, have still trying to figure out where is that second option identity. Jordan Addison looked good in the beginning, but has been really bad the last 2 weeks. TJ Hawkinson's been a little inconsistent compared to where he was last year. He had the big game against the Eagles, but it really hasn't been great since then. And their running game has been pretty much non-existent. And I think with Spagnuolo, you've seen him a lot try to say, all right, we'll let Jefferson do his thing, and then he'll stop everyone else. And I just think the Chiefs are a little more talented right now on that defensive side to be able to stop everyone else because they have been down this year. The Chiefs' offensive line, I think, will be effective enough to cancel out the Vikings D-line, which has been good rushing the passer this year, but has struggled stopping the run. I think it's another big game for Pacheco. I think this is a lower scoring game than people expect because I still don't know if those wide receivers for the Chiefs are that trustworthy right now, but I do think they hold on and win a close game. I'm going to go with Kansas City on the under. All right, Dallas at San Francisco. The over-under is 45 and a potential Randy Gregory revenge game.
Give me the 49ers in this one. I think they're going to get through it. Brock Purdy's going to do well. They're home. Dallas has a great defense, but man, it's tough to stop Christian McCaffrey right now. Give me the 49ers in the over.
I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. I think Dallas, like I was saying with the Patriots and the Bills, they're still trying to figure out their way with the Trayvon Diggs injury. Now, they got away with it last week because they were playing against the Patriots, who their receivers are nothing special. But the Niners have very special wide receivers. Two very talented ones, one that's underrated too, a big body guy in Jawan Jennings, who I do like too. And I think Dallas will make it close up front because the Niners have had issues with their offensive line. I think this will be a little harder for Tony Pollard and that running or Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell will be a little more limited. But McCaffrey, like you said, is just too much. Like he'll still be great anyway. Elijah Mitchell could be contained a little more in this game. But I do think Dallas is going to have a little trouble if Brock Purdy has that quick release game on, stopping those other secondary receivers. I think this is a big game for Ayuk. I think this is a good game for Jawan Jennings. And those will be the X factors. Dallas, I think, will be able to still score enough, but I do think Tony Pollard is limited as well against that Niners run defense. CeeDee Lamb has a nice game. I think the rookie tight end Ferguson's look good, but I don't really trust anyone else. So give me the Niners. I think it will be a close game. I'll take them on the under. And Monday Night Football, Devontae Adams revenge game. Green Bay at Las Vegas. The over-under is 44.5.
44.5. Give me the Packers. I'm going to take them. I still feel Green Bay's got something to prove, but I think this is a good get-right game for them. I don't even know if Garoppolo's even playing. So I'm going to take the Packers in this game. It's a tough one to pick, though.
You got over under 44.5.
Oh, yeah, I have the over in this one.
Okay. I'm going to go.
Stink.
Yeah, this game will definitely be close. I was not impressed last week with Jordan Love, some of the decision-making that he had. And the Packers
was awful.
Yeah, the Packers offense
really inaccurate.
Packers offensive line has been very banged up so far, and as bad as the Raiders roster is on defense, their pass rush has still been very good. And I do think they'll be able to generate pressure to rattle them. Aaron Jones not 100%. He's coming back. He's probably going to play, but again, not 100%. I don't know if they're going to be able to take advantage of that full time. I like Christian Watson in this game. I think he plays well. Where is that second target going to come for this team if Jordan Love is flustered? Now, you're right. I think whatever quarterback does play, it's not going to be a passing type game. The Packers have a lot of issues stopping the run. This is
this could be Josh Jacobs'
game. I think that's going to be the difference in this game. Adams will do his thing. Him and Jair Alexander have some interesting matchups, but I do think Adams will want to do his thing on the Packers as well. So I'm going to take the Raiders in a close one on the under.
All right. And that is it for our picks this week. Thank you so much, Speedy. Appreciate it, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then let me get to our buzzer beater. Speedy? There it is. My buzzer beater is this. We saw it this past week. Adam Copeland, known as Edge, signing with AEW. And what does that mean? Well, it's a big get for AEW because you get another veteran in that locker room. And you kind of get somebody that takes away the CM Punk stench a little bit because Copeland is the opposite of CM Punk, right? He's a more giving, nurturing veteran that will help everybody around that locker room, help the younger guys and the girls and everything like that. So good on Adam Copeland and Edge for signing with AEW. Don't forget to check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, all that. Don't forget Eric Bowe officially joining the show next Friday. So that could check us out. Thank you so much to Speedy Petey, of course, as always, to Snug for calling in, to the fans for listening and watching. We appreciate it. If you have off on Monday, enjoy your 3-day weekend. I know I will. We'll talk to you next Friday with Eric Bowe here. And that was a new co-host with me on Game On. This has been Josh Silverberg. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your sports. Enjoy the MLB playoffs and all that stuff. You've been listening to Game On live right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports